Hey, let me tell you about Fundo Los Leones and the opportunity that we have here. If you were to take a globe and just kind of spin it and try and find the most unique place in the world that would offer beauty, opportunity, adventure, that would be far away from political turmoil, geographic issues, climate issues, I think you'd have a hard time finding a place better than the area of Patagonia, primarily in Chile. The reason is that where it's situated in the southern hemisphere, most of the winds blow across the South Pacific, almost 5,000 miles, so far away from any smog that would drift from China, India, even the United States. The water and the moisture that comes to Chile is swept up from the Antarctic area, and the ocean currents are as well. So the water that arrives here, the fresh water, the ocean water, the winds, all come into the Patagonia area and hit up against the Andes that flow from the northern part of South America down to the southern tip. So when all that moisture hits here, it creates the subtropical environment that we have here that causes it to rain about 30% of the time, but it's the most pure water that there is in the world. It touches no civilization because we have no development here, no people at all to speak of, and even very little agriculture. It's virtually untouched. So Chile, in the Patagonia area, is unique in the world. You can come here and feel safe. It's very inexpensive to live here, to do construction, although a little difficult because we're remote, but that's changing every day. When I got here 20 years ago, you had to float down a river or fly in a helicopter, and now the roads have opened up and they have better bridges, and they have ferries now that cross over to our peninsula, which in all reality is an island. But you come here, and there's a little village about a half a mile away that has around 250 people that live like they did 100 years ago. They live off the land, they fish in the open waters, and when you walk there from Fundo Los Leones, you feel like you've stepped back in time, really. And that's kind of fun to see. If you brought kids here, those kinds of things, that's what would be of interest, to see people living in little houses and sand streets and things like that. However, that's changing quickly. They're beginning to pave the roads. Cellular services come in. They've just brought in a fiber optic cable to provide better internet, put in some brand new generators to provide electricity for the city, etc. So things are changing, but they still are somewhat backward in what we would call normal civilization, but for me it's about as comfortable as it can get. What about Fundo Los Leones, located here in the Aysén region of Chile? We're just right on the southern border of the 10th area and the top of the 11th. We're right on the line. In fact, that line is in the fjord here in front of us. Now, understanding what a unique jewel that we have here is important. If you were to go north of here about 100 miles to Puerto Montt, from that area all the way down here on this side of the Andes, except for a little road called the Austral Highway and some people that live on both sides, some farmers and stuff, that whole area has now been dedicated as the Corcovado National Park. Douglas Tompkins, who actually bought Fundo Los Leones for his wife as a wedding present, basically worked for years and years to buy up that property, almost 2 million acres, and he dedicated it to the Chilean government so that it would be a national park. That is incredible, and it's at our north property edge here, and there's no access to that area except for locating yourself on this peninsula with Fundo Los Leones and the little town of Raúl Marín Balmaceda. Around us in the water that you see in front here, as well as in the ocean, a little bit up the Palena River and out into the Gulf of Corcovado, is now a national maritime park. So it's protected. You can't have salmon fishing or those kinds of things. Just to the south of us are two huge reserves. There's a Moyu Reserve and there is an Anue Reserve, which is owned by some very wealthy people that have bought it with the intent of preserving that land. So virtually we're smack dab in the middle of incredible wild spaces, millions and millions of acres, and the only area that we have for commercialization, for residential living of any sort, and any access to things such as roads and the internet and cell coverage, etc., is right here on this peninsula. And we have about 3,000 acres of around 4,000 acres on the peninsula. We have access to a major river called the Rio Palena, two smaller rivers that cross our property. One is the Abe Canal. Another one is the Rio Garao. And then, of course, we have the Piti Palena Fjord behind us. In this fjord, we have ocean movement, those kinds of things. The tide comes and goes. This area right here, water could at sometimes be up to my knees right here, or as far out as almost 150 yards out into the fjord there. So it creates a really nice beach, and in fact, in the summertime, because this is such a shallow beach here, the sun heats up the water, and unlike many areas in Chile, you can actually swim here because we have not white sand, not black sand, but we have kind of gray sand here, and it heats up. This is actually warm to the touch right now. Anyway, when I first got here, we had some cabins that Douglas Tompkins had built, and we've been adding on to it for years. I've had a number of different investors come in with me at different times, but each time we've improved the property, and now we have an incredible opportunity to take advantage of time helping us with infrastructure development being done by the Chilean government, and the world actually catching up with what is Patagonia, what is Chile Patagonia, and what is this particular area. The Austral Highway was almost inaccessible until about 5 years ago, when they had better ferry service coming in, and they paved the Austral Highway, which was just gravel and dirt roads prior to that. So people are beginning to come on bikes and hitchhiking and driving RVs now, looking for camping sites. I mean, it's incredible how this is opening up. I'd love to see that transition because it's causing or creating commercial opportunities, but then again, it is taking away from the savage, wild nature that I enjoyed so much 20 years ago getting here and finding this place. So what is the opportunity here? Obviously, in 50 to 100 years, this place is going to be unmatched in the world. The issue is what is the formula to make sure that we protect the environment, that we create an opportunity that attracts the right people and creates a situation that people can explore nature and can appreciate these beauties because they can come and observe it. Our best opportunity is to work with the Chilean government and other organizations to let this be a jumping off point for the national park that we see in front of us and the Maritime National Park, which is surrounding us now. People can come and they can enjoy looking at the great blue whale, narwhals, orca, dolphin. There are some sharks. We're catching tuna and wahoo fish right in front of us here. Sea run browns, steelhead, all run up these rivers. There's so many rivers here that people could explore, kayak, fish in. It's incredibly wonderful. Because we have a very usable piece of land, there's opportunity to go horseback riding and hiking, walking through the rainforest, just getting into nature where the air cannot be any cleaner, the water cannot be any more pure. We've had the water tested here, and it's cleaner, more pure than any water that we have in any community in the United States. It is absolutely filtered here when it comes from the skies, flows into the sand on the island, hits our well, and we pump it out. It is incredible water. Fun to drink, knowing that it's as clear as it is. I actually drink from the rivers here when I'm there. I just want to be able to do that, but I know that the waters are all good. We are surrounded by mountains that jet up out of the ocean and go up 2,000, 3,000 feet, which is called the Cordillera area, and then those butt up against the Andes. So you have cascading canyons that come down, creating lakes, creating rivers, and creating thousands and thousands of waterfalls. Anytime it's raining, you can look around and you can see waterfalls appear on the cliffs of the mountains around us. Many waterfalls run all the time, and those that come here can explore 4 or 5 or 6 that are very, very close. And they're spectacular waterfalls. Come crashing down, hit big boulders, create big sprays, etc. This fjord in front of us, a lot of very wealthy people and a lot of big yachts and sailboats come and nestle in here because it's the only nice fjord or port between Puerto Montt and down to the Puerto Cisnes. And what they like to do is they like to come and park right in front of us because they enjoy looking at our setting here. We have beautiful structures, a lot of green grass, openness, this nice dock, and it's very, very private. Although the city is that way, people can't get to us because there's a little inlet that cuts in, and our beaches are pretty much mostly private all the time, even though people can walk on the beaches. But the homestead area of Fundo Los Leones is totally private and based on our master plan always will be. We will have upwards to 100 lots here that will all be working in a conservation membership club that will adhere to conservation easements and development restrictions, those kinds of things, so that we protect the appeal of the area and make sure that we maintain a good profile of people that will come and enjoy things here. We'll have a commercial area that will also be able to help people that come as tourism increases with the better roads and with better ferry service coming in. And probably more importantly, our promotion as well as just tourism, like Condé Nast and other travel magazines have come and have begun to explore here. And we've been told we are the finest and the only place in this whole 300-mile stretch that is of the quality that people would hope to find that would be traveling to places like this that don't want to just backpack and sleep in tents. There are a lot of bed and breakfast type areas, but they would not compare to what we have here at all. Families coming here can relax. People that want to escape, perhaps celebrities that want to get away from paparazzi. And Chile happens to be the safest and best economy for investment in all of Latin America. So that's to our benefit. So anyway, there's just so much more to talk about. I just wanted to give an overview of what we have around us here. And with that, we could sit down and talk about how we best develop those aspirations or develop that vision. What would the investments be on a timeline, and what would be appropriate so that we get the concession rights to the national park, which is something that I think we should work on pursuing so that we can bring in tourists and explore the land around us. And at that point, continue to build out better lodging and develop a commercial area where we can have a rental store, a sandwich shop, maybe a campground, RV sites for people that come. They can begin to explore the area, write about it, bring others. Hopefully we'll go from 10 sheep to 100 sheep, so we have that setting here. A lot of our grass can be grazed down. We should have about 6 horses. We have 3 now, but we should have 6 rideable horses, so you can have a guide and up to 5 people out trekking around on the beach or through the rainforests or in the open pastures. It'd be fun to have an exercise area that would have something small like a pickle court, which is a huge sport right now. That would also be a basketball court, perhaps even under a roof so you could play during the rain, and an exercise area and maybe a hot sauna. We do have a hot tub now, but perhaps we could add on to that, and that would not be that much money, really. We've even got room to have a golf driving range. I mean, it goes on and on in terms of what could be done here. I would love to be around in 100 years and see what this place will become. But I just want to make sure that we contribute to it in a way that it is an incredible place to visit, and we protect the environment and create a great reputation for what our vision has been as we have settled in here to Fundo Los Leones.